In the annals of human history dating back to the ancient Greeks, we find the roots of our modern democratic process. Democracy, derived from the Greek words demos and kratos, meaning people and power, respectively, began its journey in the city-state of Athens around the 5th century BC. Yet it was not until centuries later that the concept of elections, as we understand them today, began to take shape. Fast forward to the 13th century in the Italian city-states of Venice and Florence. Here we find some of the earliest instances of organized elections, where citizens had the opportunity to cast their votes to elect their leaders. Yes, it was a time when only a select few had the privilege to vote, but it marked a significant shift in the distribution of power. As we move into the 17th and 18th centuries, the Age of Enlightenment brought about a radical change in thinking. Philosophers and political theorists began to champion the idea of the social contract, and the notion that the governing authority of a state ought to be in the hands of its people. This led to the birth of modern representative democracies. One of the most significant milestones in this journey was the establishment of the United States Constitution in 1787, which instituted a system of elections for the selection of the country's leaders. This monumental event set a precedent that many other nations would follow. The 19th century saw the gradual expansion of suffrage. Movements in Europe and America fought hard for the rights of working-class men, and later, women, to vote. By the early 20th century, women's suffrage had become a global phenomenon, with New Zealand leading the way in 1893 by becoming the first country to grant women the right to vote. In the post-World War II era, the wave of decolonization across Africa, Asia, and the Pacific led to a surge in new democracies. These nations adopted elections as a means to establish their governments, reflecting the growing consensus that the power to govern should stem from the will of the people. And so, we arrive at the present day. Elections have evolved from a privilege of the few to a right of the many. They have become the cornerstone of democratic societies, embodying the principle that every citizen has a voice. Elections are more than just a process. They are a symbol of our collective aspiration for fairness, equality, and accountability. They allow us to shape our societies, to select leaders who represent our values, and to effect change when it is needed. While the journey has not been straightforward and challenges persist, the evolution of elections stands testament to the human desire for freedom and self-determination. It is a story that continues to unfold, as we strive to make our democracies more inclusive, more transparent, and more representative of the diverse societies we live in. In a world where change is the only constant, elections remain a beacon of hope, a testament to our collective power, and a reminder that the future is in our hands.